Well, hello there, my young readers, and welcome back to the channel. And if you're new, welcome. We're so glad you could make it. This story is a near and dear to this channel's heart. At the heart of this channel is a simple and powerful belief. Reading is one of the greatest gifts we can give. It's more than just words on a paper. It's a doorway to empathy, curiosity, and lifelong learning. Through the stories, young readers can learn about feelings, friendships, and seeing the world through someone else's eyes, through the characters that's read on this channel. Every story expands vocabulary, strengthens listening skills, and builds the foundation for strong communication. That's why we end each video with a little chat to reinforce understanding. When young readers listen, they visualize, they imagine through the stories. That mental imagery is the seed of creativity. Here on the channel, we're committed to making reading an adventure that feels like play. Our carefully selected stories, lively narration, and interactive touches are all designed to nurture a true love of books. Because anybody, and I've opened that up from just young readers to anybody who loves stories, becomes a lifelong learner and a lifelong dreamer. So guys, if you're not ready, go ahead, go get your snacks, go get your drinks, pause this video, run to the bathroom, come on back, and we'll get started. Stay tuned. The name of this story is called Author's Reading Race by Mark Brown. Arthur learned to read in school. Now, Arthur reads everywhere. He reads in the car. He reads in bed. He reads to his puppy pal. Arthur even reads to his little sister, DW. One day, Arthur said, "I can teach you to read too." "I already know how to read," said DW. "You do not," said Arthur. "Do too," said DW. "Prove it," said Arthur. "Read 10 words, DW, and I'll buy you an ice cream." DW stuck her hand out. "It's a deal," she said. "Let's go." They raced to the park. Arthur pointed to a sign. "What's that say?" he asked. "Zoo," said DW. "Easy as pie." "I spy 3 words," said Arthur. "Me too," said DW. "Taxi, gas, milk." Arthur stepped off the curb. "Look out," said DW. "It says don't walk. You could get hit by a car." "All right, Miss Smarty Pan. What's that say?" asked Arthur. "Police," said DW. "And you better keep off the grass, or the police will get you." "Bank," said DW. "I have a bank. I hide my money in it so you can't find it. Bank makes 8 words. "We're almost home," said Arthur. "Too bad. You only read 8 words. No ice cream for you today." "Hold your horses," said DW. "I spy ice cream. Hot dog. I read 10 words. Let's eat." DW and Arthur ran to the ice cream store. Arthur bought 2 big cones. Strawberry for DW and chocolate for himself. "Yummy," said DW. Arthur sat down. "Sit down with me," said Arthur. "I'll read you my book." "No," said DW. "I'll read you the book." Arthur shook his head. "I don't think so," he said. "There are too many words that you don't know." DW laughed. Get up, Arthur. Now I can teach you 2 words that you don't know, said DW. Wet paint. Well, that ends our story. And in the beginning of this story, you could see when Arthur learned how to read, it just opened up all kinds of doors, windows, everything, worlds. Because once he learned to read, that's what he read everything to everybody, even his sister. It became that important to him. And you can see why.
And you know what? When I first learned to read, I was reading everything. In fact, not only was I reading everything, but I was listening to stories.
Yeah.
And I even tried to do it at the same time. Not recommended.
What? At the same time?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? What did you do?
Okay. Back then, we had Walkmans, and I had a story on a tape, an audio tape, and I would be listen to it, and while I was listening to it, I was reading another book. And I thought, this would be so cool, so maybe I could get 2 stories at the same time. Again, I do not recommend that.
Well, you know what? This is not something that's unusual for you. You're always pushing those boundaries, and I love that. When I was reading everything, and I still do, but the first, you gotta understand, I used to watch a lot of horror pictures. I loved me some scary pictures. And so when I started to read, I was getting scary books to read. And what I would do is I would take those books and I would put them under my pillow. So at night when I went to bed, I could, read my book. And I would simply, fold the page down to let me know what page I ended with. Well, I ended up having to stop doing that because I was starting to get nightmares. And of course, we all know where that's coming from. It's coming from those books that I was reading. But it didn't occur to me until later that it was happening because I'm reading these books these horror books at night. So I had to stop doing that.
And you say I'm the one who's pushing boundaries? That was crazy. You didn't see that coming. That nightmares would be on the brim of reading horror books and then going to sleep on that. So, yeah, that was up there.
Once I realized what was going on, I stopped that. But did you notice in the story that once Arthur had the knack of reading, he wanted to imprint that on his sister DW? But I don't think he realized DW was already on her journey into the reading arena, because there were a lot of things she already knew. I mean, he challenged her to, in their walk, for her to be able to read 10 words. And from what I could see, she was doing it really well.
I noticed that too. See, Arthur underestimated his sister because, again, he could have been the one that really influenced her in her reading journey, made her want to read. And I don't think he realized how much he had already influenced her because she kept correcting him on a lot of things. Did you notice? He was about to walk across the street and DW had to point out to him the sign said, "Don't walk." And there was another time when he actually asked her, what does the word on the car says? And it said police. Well, she told him what it said, but she also told him, "You are standing in grass and the sign says keep off the grass." And right behind her, lo and behold, it's the police. So she kind of had her own way of letting him know, "I got you, bro. I got you."
She sure did. And I really enjoyed that. I mean, it came down to where he had counted about 8 words that she had, and the actual challenge was for her to get 10 words. And they had made it to the ice cream store, and he told her, "You didn't make the challenge. Guess we don't get any ice cream." And she corrected him. She said, "Whoa, wait, bro. Did you notice the word ice cream?" And I kept looking at it, going, "Wait a minute, 2 words." Okay, I guess that could be considered 2 words. Ice cream. Yeah. So she was able to make the actual challenge and get that ice cream. So, good on her.
Exactly. And you know what? She had that sneaky way of getting in her little, digs. And the one that was my favorite, and it's got to be my favorite, it was at the end. Come on, everybody. You know it's your favorite. At the end, when he sat down on the bench and asked her to sit down next to him so he could read to her, and she blatantly told him no. And when she told him, "Get up, Arthur," and he gets up, and she says, "Can you read wet paint?" And I'm like, oh, she took that one. That was all her.
Yeah, she did. She owned him on that one. And there's just no way around that. She did because, he was just engrossed in the book that he was going to read and everything, but he wasn't paying attention to the details. It's kind of like he couldn't see the tree for the forest. And, DW, she was all details. She was in it definitely to win it.
I would have to agree with you on that. Well, little darling, that is my time. I will see everyone in the next video. Bye!
Well, there goes Miss Triangel. And as always, she has left us with her brand of knowledge. Well, like I said in the beginning of this story is near and dear to this channel's heart. And I'm hoping you guys could see that, and I'm hoping you guys got some good takeaways from this. Reading is your best friend. So until next time, my young readers, I am your little darling narrator, out.